Midweek Analysis.
Hey guys, this is a midweek analysis for February 3rd of 2021. Okay, so we'll start off with the Euro-USD chart. This is a monthly chart. We'll do a quick overview. Okay, so because of this trendline breakout from that pivot to this pivot, right here, we're long biased for the medium term. But because of this price action over here, in the long term, we're still short biased. So medium term long, long term short biased. Okay, let's go on to entries. Okay, so this is a daily chart. Now we were talking about this trend line right here, from this pivot to this pivot. We want price to pull back to this trend line for a possible entry long right up to this pivot high right here. Okay. Now, a couple things are playing out here. If you remember last week, I was talking about this HNS being fake. Thus, fake HNSs typically don't go its target distance. Okay, so this target distance being like this area, it probably wouldn't reach there. And so if you're shorting this trade, I suggest not taking that target distance, taking profits a little bit early. Okay, but yeah, we also talked about this level coinciding with this level that we want along. Okay, so we're just waiting for price to fall back down there for our entry long to target here. Okay, so let's talk midweek price action. Okay, so we're on the 4-hour chart now. Okay, so on the 4-hour chart, basically what happened is, let's see, there was a short trade right here, week-long trade, got stopped out and it's falling down. So basically, that daily HNS, although it's fake, a lot of people are taking that down. So we could possibly get that pullback to that daily trend line. That's what it looks like for now. Yes, the daily trend line being right here. This pivot to this pivot. Okay, right here. Okay, so let's go on to the Aussie-Nzdusd pair. Oh, and please subscribe if you like these videos. And please press the like button. It really helped me out, guys. Thank you. Okay, this is the Aussie-Nzdusd monthly chart. Okay, the overview has changed for this pair. According to recent price action, right? This double bottom wasn't as strong as I thought. However, this downward trend line is still weak. And so I'm still long biased in the long term, at least up to this pivot high or this trend line right here. But for the medium term, I think price is going to pull back a lot more than I expected. And so for the medium term, I'm actually targeting this level right here. Okay, so long term, I'm long biased to these targets here. But short term, I'm short biased for the pullback down. Okay. And another announcement is that this pair's price action is very tricky. But I'll keep posting this because I think it's good educational material. But please take everything I say with a grain of salt. Okay. Okay, so let's just go into entries. Alright, so this is a daily chart. Okay, so roughly 2 weeks ago, I was mentioning a very strong short trade. And if that short trade, if it even touches this level right here, and more importantly, this level, this whole level will collapse. Okay, and that has happened. So those levels were touched and price just collapsed right here. Okay, so let's go on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, in terms of entries, there was a short trade that formed yesterday right here. Okay, but that target's already been hit. Okay, so this is a weekly chart. That target being from this pivot to this pivot, it was just hit. a couple minutes ago. Okay. The reason why I'm taking these small targets is because in the long term, right, price is still long bias. And this is just a pullback, so I'm taking very short targets. All right, so let's talk midweek price action. Okay. Yeah, so we'll stay on the 4-hour chart. Okay, in the midweek price action, basically what happened is that, like I said, there was a short trade right here. And those levels, which was right here and right here, those levels were touched. So this whole range here collapsed. Okay. Which means price is likely to fall actually down to this pivot low right here. Okay. However, the target's already been hit because we're taking short targets at this point. But I'm pretty sure price will reach this pivot low eventually. Okay. All right, so let's go on to the Nzdusd USD. Well, I just put out lesson 6 of my price action trading course. It's on how to effectively use trend lines for clarity. Okay, so if you have time, please check that out. Okay, the Nzdusd USD, let's do a quick overview. Okay, so it was a week-long trade. Price went up just on momentum. So we're looking for a short right back down to this stop loss target right here. Okay. Okay, so let's go entries. Okay, this is a weekly chart. Let me zoom out. Okay, so we're talking about this trend line from this pivot to this pivot. We want a price to keep respecting that with compact price action. And at this point it is, right? And simultaneously, this is a 4-hour chart. We're talking about we want price to either round out, right? No sudden falls, right? Or get price patterns, right? So we're looking for a double top, or perhaps a little bit fall, then an HNS right here. Okay. And simultaneously, I also mentioned last week, let's go back to the weekly chart. Okay, and zoom up on this. I also mentioned how that trend line I mentioned earlier was right here. And this trend line from this pivot to this pivot. Price is really consolidating between these two trend lines. So we want a price to break this trend line out or surpass it. And this week it did surpass it. So that's a good sign too. Okay. Okay, so let's go to midweek price action. Okay, so on the midweek price, just a couple hours ago, this long trade formed here, right? So what price is actually respecting is, let's go back to the daily chart, is this trend line right here. So from this pivot to this pivot, right? So that long trade on the 4-hour formed right here. So that's the level it's respecting. But for us, it doesn't really matter if price goes up or down, because on the 4-hour we could still get a double top or bigger HNS, right? But something we do want to see is a breakout of this trend line, right? Eventually, so whether it goes up with a double top and falls or HNS, before that we want this daily level to get broken out. Okay, so that's it for the midweek analysis. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Bye.